What's going on, body bags? Andrew here, back at you with another video, and this is our special 90s week. Where is my DVD? Okay, and I am doing a very, very special movie. I did this for my, what would it be? Well, we did it for our underrated show on the podcast. I like this movie, and yeah, so I'm going to get right to it. I am doing Phantoms from 1998. Yes, you see the floating heads, you know what era that's from. So the plot of this movie, essentially this group of people are trying to fight off this ancient enemy whom only can be stopped by a man named Timothy Flight, played by Peter O'Toole, and yeah, that's basically it. It's a lot more complicated than that. This definitely requires, I would say, at least a very, very, you pay attention to the whole thing to get the story of this. But my thoughts on this movie. So this is really a movie of two halves. You have the first 40 minutes of this movie. It basically is, I forget what I was going to compare it to, but it's like very contained. It's like one town. These people arrive there, and the town is completely deserted. And that's you pretty much spend that. You meet, of course, Ben Affleck and Lee Schreiber, Sheriff Tom. Is it Tom or Drew Hammond, I believe is his name, and Deputy Stu is his name, and basically that's your main cast, and then Peter O'Toole comes in a little bit later. But these four spend the 40 minutes together, and I thought, that first 40 minutes is so atmospheric. You get this very isolated feeling, almost like a melancholy. I really like the way it's shot, and but basically, about 40-minute mark, the FBI shows up, and for the rest of the movie, it really switches gears very, very fast. I really feel like there should have been the major problem I have with this movie is the editing. The editing is very poorly done. Other than that, if it had a better editor to where this movie feels better paced, and a lot of the movements and stuff, the editing techniques that they used was very late 90s, early 2000s, mostly not used in horror, but used in other things. Yeah, I wish that it could have been a little bit more well done in that area, but I will say that this movie has a very good Scream era feel to it, and it's a very, I just like it. It's really cool. I like the storyline of this ancient enemy. It very, very, very much reminds me. It's basically Carpenter's from Prince of Darkness. You get that vibe from it of basically the anti-god is essentially what this thing is, and I like Prince of Darkness a little bit better than this. But I think this movie is pretty kick-ass. It's definitely a movie that you don't watch with friends. I think you just watch it with a small group of people who are into more story-based movies. This is definitely not like most of the Scream era movies. I would say you could definitely sit down and watch with friends. Just like having a beer, like Scream, Scream 2, The Faculty, Urban Legend, H2O. All those movies you could definitely sit down. This one. And, like I Know What You Did Last Summer, I would recommend probably a more subdued environment, because those are not necessarily party movies. Anyways, the book, so far I am, it's like 430 pages, and so far I am 53 pages in. So far it's actually almost identical. They did bring in the sheriff and the police a little bit earlier. Either way, I really, really dig this movie. It has some issues, some storytelling issues, definitely some editing issues. Other than that, I think this is a pretty kick-ass movie. I give this movie an 8 out of 10. Back up to an 8. Alright, thanks guys for tuning in. I will see you next week. Peace.